I'm Shane, I'm a third-year student here in UCD. I honestly believe I'm the best candidate for this job. I want to reconnect with students here in UCD and their education. I want students to be able to reconnect with me and the Education Office. I know that I'm the best candidate for this job, so I have the ability, the determination and the drive to reconnect students with their education. I keep saying it, but it's quite simple, guys. It's the simplest things. I've the experience. I've been a peer mentor 2 years running. I've dealt with case studies of people, or individual cases. I know what their problems are. I've been in the welfare crew. I know how exams can affect people from their welfare point of view as well. I've been on student staff committees. I've been an academic rep. I have huge administrative experience. I know that this makes me the best candidate for the job. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thanks very much, Shane. Sam?
How you doing, guys? Whoa, that's very loud. Take a
right.
step back. How you doing, guys? My name is Sam, and I am the Education Officer currently in the Students' Union, so obviously that makes me the best candidate for the job because I have the knowledge, the experience, and I have a proven track record of getting results for students. That is my slogan, knowledge, experience, results. It's on the poster, it's on the manifesto. I sit on over 40 university committees. I've built up the relationships with staff from every facet of UCD. From the smallest committees like plagiarism committees right on the top to governing authority. And I suppose the reason why I'm the best man for the job is that if you re-elect me as Education Officer, I will start working for you next week in March with this manifesto, while if Shane or Patrick do get re-elected, they won't take office until July, and there will be that learning curve. I don't need that learning curve, I've already had it. That's why I think I'm the best man for the job, and I really would appreciate your vote next Wednesday and Thursday. Thank you.
You've all mentioned fines or fees in one way or another in your manifesto, such as things as promises to reduce the resit fees in exams, scrap student card exam fines. How realistic are these promises, and how do you intend to achieve them? Because we've heard them in education manifestos time and time again.
Well, we're dealing with fines. First of all, I think the €50 fine that students are made to endure if they forget their student card exams just isn't right for students. Exams are a stressful time for students, okay? Forgetting their student card is a simple thing to do, okay? Now, I personally didn't see it. There was a promise made that at this year's exams at Christmas that there would be printers available there so people could print out a new student card. I personally didn't see them, okay? It's a promise that's been made as well for the second semester. Okay, I personally believe the students, if you have to pay the €30, students have to pay the €30 for this new card, okay? They're going to be extremely stressed for their exams. To expect them to pay €30 on the spot for a new card, it's pointless, okay? In terms of repeats and resit fees, okay? The current price for both is €230, okay? The HEA pays €4,000 of a €6,000 fine. The students pay around €2,000. That breakdown means that each module is €500. Okay? To repeat a module costs you €230. So that's a saving of €270. The reason the repeat and the resit fees are that price is so that the university can break even. The university makes no profit off those prices. However, what I want to see done is to see these prices reduced for the repeat and resit fees. I want to see that fee reduced, and I want to work with the university authorities to see that where this money can be made up elsewhere. Because the students' welfare, the students' ability to perform their exams, and the students' grades at the end of the day, and their education are the main reasons they're here. That's my two main points on fines. In terms of fees, it seems to be reg fees, yeah?
I was actually mainly just speaking about fines. For the
just fines, yeah. Okay, well, yeah, that's grand. Other two fines there, that's speak about.
Yeah, I suppose I would agree with Shane on those 2 points. Yes, the €50 fee for getting a student card I think is far too much. I don't think there should be a fee, and it was something that myself and the rest of the sabbatical team, especially Pat and Brendan, have worked hard on this year to try and alleviate. But this came in last year at the Fees and Setting Charges Committee, which I wasn't the education officer at the time, and the Students' Union don't have a seat on this committee. We have tried our utmost to get rid of the fee. Unfortunately, we were just told it's not possible. Therefore, Pat and I decided to bring a proposal where, as Shane alluded to, the student card printing machine. This was promised last year and never delivered, and we tried our utmost to bring it into the exams in semester 1, and it was piloted, and it was piloted successfully, and it's been in my council report, it was my first council report since, first council report of semester 2, that this was brought in, and it will be there for all students in semester 2. Secondly, regarding the repeats and resit fee issue, I would agree that it is an issue. I think 230 is financially crippling for students, and is forcing so many students out of college. You know, I know it firsthand myself. So many students, especially after the especially after the semester 1 exam results, emailed me, came into me and just said, I don't know how I'm going to pay this. It looks like I'll have to drop out. Myself and Pat have met the registrar, we've met the bursar, and it is an issue we are working on quite closely, but we'll keep you updated and we'll hope to bring it down, but it doesn't look like the university want to. And just to correct you there, Shane, when you say students pay €2,000 to your degree, that is right, and you say €500 per module, it's actually €166.67 per module, so just to keep that in mind.
Where's the rest of the money though, Sam?
It was 166.67 times 12, which is €2,000, so most students would take 12 modules in a year, so that's what it's coming from. So students aren't paying €500 per module, they're paying 166.67, so I just think that point needs to be made. But yeah, that would answer the question on fines.
Guys, this year with cuts to supports for postgraduate students, and obviously with the new constitution proposing a new postgraduate education officer, postgraduate issues are coming to the fore in UCD, particularly in the Students' Union. How do you intend to enact SU policy in this area, and why are you better suited to cater to postgraduate students? There are around 7,000 postgraduate students in UCD. How are you going to cater to them, and why are you better suited than your opponent? Maybe you take this first, Stan.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I think I'm better suited basically because I have the experience. I've sat on many graduate program boards, including university graduate program boards. I work closely with Martin, who's our postgraduate officer, and I work closely with USI. And more and more students are looking to go into postgraduate education and further education, because what is the option when you graduate? Most students will either have the option of going on the dole, emigrating, or further educating themselves. And most people will choose the latter, but with the cuts to the postgraduate grants and the budget just gone, it's imperative that a better funding option is created. That's why in my manifesto I do say that I work closely with USI to implement a postgraduate loan scheme, and if that is impossible to achieve nationwide, I'll achieve one just for UCD students, similar to what they have at DCU.
Thanks very much, Sam. Shane?
Again, postgraduate issues, I agree with Sam that the removal of support in terms of grants for postgraduates is crippling for many postgraduate students, discourages a lot of students from going into postgraduate education. In terms of working alongside USI, I think this is something that should be started immediately. At Council on the 14th of February, the postgraduate officer put proposed a motion before the Council, seconded by the President, that mandate the sabbatical office to currently and immediately will all be USI to work on bringing in a postgraduate loan scheme for students. Now, I don't think that's something we should be implemented immediately this year while the current sabbats are still sitting, not next year, depending on who the current sabbats are. I also think that currently I want to studying for a postgraduate, and it's kind of extends to mature students as well. Studying in UCD as a postgraduate can be quite a lonely place. I want to make sure there's facilities available for them. Currently, there's a very small postgraduate lounge in arts. It's not the nicest of places. I've been there, I've seen it. I want to create something for postgraduates and for mature students as well, where they can feel comfortable, relaxed, de-stress before getting really involved with their education. But again, I'll go back to the postgraduate STEAM thing. That needs to be brought in immediately, not promised for next year.
Sorry, Shane, just on that point when you say that you want to make a facility available so postgraduate students or mature students can go into a room and have a cup of coffee or have a chat or whatever. Have you researched that? Is there a room available? You know, the university is stretched with the room allocations. It's one of the reasons why societies are getting shoved into ag, and with the new student centre, it looks like. Sorry, it's one of the reasons why societies are getting shoved into the ag block, and there's very little activity in the Newman building. So I'm just wondering, how are you proposing to find a room big enough to accommodate postgraduate students and mature students?
Well, Sam, it's an idea that I have, and I want to try and implement that. I will do that by engaging with services, all representatives from all buildings, to see whether there is room available. It's an idea that I have. I want to hit the ground running with it. You know, again, I won't deny, I've been focused on my campaign for the moment. I will do research. If I'm elected, if I am elected and I go into office on the 1st of July, I will hit the ground running and start the research on that, engage with them as quickly as I can. It's an idea that I want. I want to fulfill my promises. I'm not making broad, wide sweeping promises in my manifesto. This is a thing that is easily implementable, okay? It's not a huge, it's a huge facility, yes, but it's not a huge, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a huge idea. It's a simple thing that can be done to improve students' lives here.
And I agree wholeheartedly. It is a simple, it's probably perceived to be simple, but I think you're missing the point that the room allocations, they just aren't there. There isn't the space,
Then we find somewhere. It's simple as that, Sam.
But how are we going to find somewhere? How are you going to fund it?
Sam, listen to me, please. Okay, you ask me a question, I'd like to answer it.
Sure, right.
Sam, what I'm saying to you is, you can find somewhere. Okay, that's my point. Okay.
But where? But where? Where are you finding this imaginary
Look,
space?
it's not an imaginary space, Sam. There's constant building works going on in UCD. There's a brand new student centre being built. The inside hasn't even been finished yet. This entire building is going to be, the contents of this building, most of it will be moved into the new student centre. There'll be room here. Sam, you have to explore these options. I'm not going to... Yeah, exactly, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to...
But you haven't explored it, quite clearly. It's just Shane, you speak a lot about communications in your manifesto. Which it was something when I ran last year. I felt that the education office wasn't advertised as much, and it was one of the reasons why this year myself and Rachel implemented clinics, reach out clinics, once a week in different buildings for a couple of hours to engage with students. But some of the things in your manifesto, you're saying you want to advertise Erasmus, you want to advertise internships, you want to advertise grants. They're fantastic ideas, but all of these are implemented already by the Erasmus is implemented by each college, the internships is implemented by the careers office, and the grants you want to. First of all, you say with the grants that you want to you want to highlight all the 66 different local authorities. All the different criteria, but all
they're brought into the central council.
But all of that is highlighted. Let me finish. All of that is highlighted, and you can literally just copy and paste it on studentfinance.ie. And fair enough, if you want to do this, that's grand, and it will definitely help students. But this facility is already available to students, and I think if you do get into the job, and if you do this, it's going to hinge your ability. You're not going to have time to read policy. You're not going to have time to attend meetings. You're not going to have time to deal with personal cases and be an education officer. So I just wonder, why are these in your manifesto, and are you aware that all of these are already done by the college?
Well, in terms of the fairs, in terms of Erasmus, internships, stuff like that, yes, the Careers Development Office does provide that. When I went around collecting signatures for my nomination, I asked the students if they know what week it was. They replied to me week 4, okay? It was Careers Week. Their Students' Union officer should be informing them of what's happening. They should be making sure that what the students want is included in these fairs, okay? The Careers Development Office, it's a brilliant facility. I will never, ever deny that. I will never deny that. What I'm saying is, currently, fairs are put on place because people believe they know what students want. Students need to have input into these fairs. That's what I'm talking about. Students need to basically give ideas as what they want to see as an internship fairs, what they want to see as an Erasmus fairs, what areas they want to see. That's what I'm talking about. In terms of implementing them, of course it'll be tiring. Of course it'll be time consuming. But if you're in the job, you will make the time. I understand there'll be days where I'll be in meetings from dusk till dawn, 3 hours sleep, whatever, that kind of a way. But you will make the time. If you're dedicated in the job, you will make the time.
I think my point that if you work with the careers office, if you work with the college to highlight the Erasmus fairs, then I think that's a better way of managing your time and engaging with the student body and communicating better.
Well, I work in conjunction with them, of course, but I want to make sure that I'm at the head of it from the student's point of view. I want to work alongside them, yes, of course, but I want to make sure that the students' interests are what's at heart. What the students want to see is the focal point. Is the focal point of the fair. In question, be it internships or Erasmus or careers.
Okay, guys. Maybe Shane, do you have a question for Sam?
I actually have 2, if that's all right. Just in your point here, it says in your 10 points in the back, not just a promise of achievement, a track record of it. You say in 2 very big points, oversaw successful implementation of credit-based charging as opposed to a large flat fee, oversaw the change from UC Connect to Gmail. And the last point, first of all, you use the word oversaw twice. Oversaw doesn't mean that you did this. Oversaw means that it happened and you were there. First of all, with the UC Connect to Gmail. UC Connect to Gmail was already planned to go into place before you came into office. You included in your manifesto. It was already going to happen. Okay. Secondly, what I'd like to ask you in your manifesto is, in terms of, where is it there now? Yes, the National Student Survey. You want to run a National Student Survey if you're elected. This is based on the Hunt Report of January 2011. Okay, this report came out before you even came into office. How come you're only getting around to doing this survey now?
Well, I'll address the National Student Survey point, if that's okay.
Yeah.
As you know, the Hunt Report, as you alluded to, it came in January 2011, and there's been many recommendations. Not all has the work begun on that. I've worked closely with USI, closely with the IUA, and closely with the IOTI to try and implement a scheme like that. Currently, the IUA are having difficulties with the National Student Survey, and they're kind of roadblocking it at present. But I'm working very close with the president of the USI, the education officer of USI, and the campaigns officer of USI, who was former education officer.
I just have to respond to that. I'm not, in this particular case, I understand it's a complete national issue, but it's UCD based. You're the UCD education officer first and foremost. Would you not run a pilot one here, take your own initiative?
There already is a pilot.
A simple thing like SurveyMonkey, just something simple like that.
But there already is a pilot one run here, headed up by Barbara Edmonds, the Deputy Registrar of Teaching and Learning, and by Pat. I'm sure most of you would have got your emails just before the Crystal exams about the module feedback survey, and there's many surveys like that. So it's already implemented here in UCD, and I was chatting to Barbara last week, and UCD are very for the National Student Survey, but if it's not going to be implemented, they will run it themselves just for the university base. And just sorry, what was the first question?
Oh, just in terms of the you say you oversaw these events. Oversaw implies that they happened, you were there, okay? UC Connect is my main one there. That was already done to Gmail. That was already in place.
Absolutely. I suppose to address that point, the Gmail point, UCD and previous education officers have been working on this for years, and it came in April or May of last year.
There's actually also a point in your last year's manifesto where you would lobby the UCD authorities to make sure that.
Well, I got elected in March last year, and this came in April, May, and I didn't know it was coming in April or May. So.
Didn't do your research.
Fair enough, but I've done my research this year, and I think
that. I would hope so. You're the current sabbatical officer.
Well, I think that's the reason why I'm running again, and why I think I'm the best candidate, because it goes back to my knowledge and experience, because I've done my research and everything in my manifesto is 100% achievable, and you clearly haven't. But just to go back to...
So you don't believe what's in my manifesto is achievable?
I don't think everything as I've alluded to before, I mentioned the postgraduate mature students room, and you want to find a room on campus. I don't think there is a room on campus for that. If you do get elected, if you do find one, I'll hold my hands up and say fair play, but I really don't think there is one. But yeah.
Well, in terms of things not being achievable, Sam, the amount of promises you made last year, and I understand you've come out and said that you were, I think it was in the Observer, you said you were unrealistic. You're only unrealistic if you don't really try to implement things. Okay, things can be as idealistic as you want. Just let me finish. Things can be as idealistic as you want, but why settle for second best when you can strive to have the best ideas? There were some good ideas in your manifesto from last year. I won't deny that, but you have to try and implement them fully, just because, was it the Tribune ran a piece on your midterm report, you implemented, it said you ran a 24-hour study area at Christmas time. That was only up until 3 a.m. That wasn't 24 hours. There's still a lot in your manifesto.
That was the Tribune's, the Tribune typed that. I never said I ran a 24-hour study area.
Okay, well, there's a 24-hour study area in your manifesto. Anyway, moving on, you've promised a lot. And
24-hour study area was for the new student centre, and this time last year the new student centre was to be open for semester 2, and there has been delays, and I wasn't to oversee, or I wasn't to foresee the delays in the building of the new student centre.
We are no longer in the top 100 universities in the world. This is something that genuinely affects UCD students on the ground in their degree, which is why they're here. Why aren't we in the top 100 anymore?
I think it's your turn.
That's a very good question, actually. To be perfectly honest, I don't think in UCD, third level is the primary, UCD, when you come to third level, your primary focus is to get an education, okay? I think that's somewhat become mixed with other messages that come out from university. I want to, as their education officer, if I'm elected next week, I want to make sure that they're, as I said before, re-engage with them, make them aware of their education, okay? I want people to know who I am, know my face, come to me if they have any problems whatsoever, okay? And that way, it's quite clear. Students engage with their education, see what's going on around them, know the options available to them, have the information at the click of a button, which isn't there currently. Their grades will improve. This will push UCD up the rankings, create a much more educated third-level student body in UCD, and push UCD up the current university world rankings.
Thanks, Shane. And Sam, same question. Why are we in the top 100?
Why are we not in the top 100? For a variety of reasons, but just to...
What did you do wrong? Why aren't we there anymore? I said, why aren't we in the top 100?
I just want to go back to Shane's point there. Shane mentions that students should engage more with their education officer, and how I would love to believe that the Students' Union and the Education Officer have that much power to move us 20 or 30 spots up the rankings. I really don't think we do. I think what needs to be done, you know, the UCD are working on 10% more students and 10% less staff, and it's quite a buzz phrase. We need to do more with less. But it is true. We've 8 vice presidents, and 3 of them. Some of their roles would be to generate funding, such as the vice president for research, vice president for development, vice president for innovation. We need to find the money. We need to find the money from somewhere to make sure that student staff ratios fall down, because that was the main reason why we dropped so dramatically in the rankings.
Shane, you talk about creating an education blog. Sam, you talk about iTunes U. Guys, how do you intend on bringing these things in, and what is the real benefit they're going to have on students on the ground?
Sure. Will I just address my point, or just my own point? No problem. Well, iTunes U. I think most people would be familiar with iTunes, and yet I would agree that not every student would have an iPod or an iPhone or an iPad or pod or phone. Sorry. But iTunes is free to download for anyone, and it's been proved successful in many universities in the US, in the UK, even Trinity have it. So speaking with IT in the last few weeks, I brought it to their attention, and it's something that they're very keen on, because I think they're a little bit frustrated with Blackboard at the moment, and iTunes U, I think, is an easier way to engage with the student body, which I suppose will be to address Shane's point. That's what he wants to engage with the student body more.
And Shane, the UCD education blog.
Well, I think that iTunes U, very good idea, not as cost effective as a simple education blog, which will provide information on everything. It's a simple, cost effective method. UCD Welfare and Ends currently this year have their own Facebook pages. Why can't UCD Education? This is a simple facility for students to find the information that they need. The blog is cost effective, won't cost any money whatsoever, if even any money, you know, kind of way. So basically that's what I'm talking about. It's an old method of blog, obviously, but it's innovative because it's not being done, okay? As I've said before, simple things done well are much better than great ideas and promises done badly.
Fair enough. Guys, any rebuttal on either of your points? No.
I'd just like to, one more thing, just in his manifesto. You have the thing about improving the UCD app. Great idea. You're marginalising a majority of the student population by focusing on this UCD app, because the majority of students at UCD don't have smartphones, don't have Androids, don't have iPhones. What about the students who don't have those things at their disposal?
Well, I suppose my whole idea there with the UCD mobile app is that it was launched there in August in time for semester 1, and 4,300 students downloaded it when it was just for Apple, so just for iPhones. Then it was available for Android customers, and BlackBerry is on the way, and then non-smartphone users. So I think that addresses everything. But the whole reason with the UCD mobile app is that it kind of links in organically with iTunes U. They have a similar facility in Stanford University. Stanford University would kind of be regarded as the leader in this kind of education, so I think that addresses the point that I am.
It doesn't address the point, Sam, of what about the students who don't have these facilities?
Well, no, the UCD mobile app will be available for non-smartphone users. So if it's available for Apple, Android, BlackBerry, and non-smartphone users, I think it's available for every student.
Okay, guys, I think do we have a question from the crowd? We have a question from the crowd.
Sorry, Sam, you say the iTunes U, just because Trinity have it, Stanford have it, brilliant. There are students in UCD in recessionary times walking around with a Nokia 3210. So you telling me the UCD mobile app's going on the Nokia 3210?
No, I'm just saying obviously not the app.
Your point then, if you're running it, this is education. This isn't who has the better phone. This isn't whose laptop can download the best app. This is education, not best apps.
Sure. Just to address that point. Sorry, I didn't catch your name. Lauren? Laura. Sorry, Laura. Just to address the point, as I said there to Shane, that the mobile app is available for Apple and Android customers presently, and it will be available for BlackBerry and non-smartphone users. Yes, the app or the facility for non-smartphone users won't be as advanced as it would be for Apple or Android or BlackBerry. No, it's not a lesser education at all. It's just it's a facility to enhance a student's life.
Okay, guys, I think we'll leave it there, and maybe guys we'll let you summate just 60 seconds why you are the man for the job.
Sure. Yeah, as I said, guys, I'm the current education officer. I've been in the job for the last 7.5 months. I've another 4.5 months left to do. And if you do re-elect me, the promises in my manifesto will begin come March 2nd if I do get re-elected. And that's a 4-month head start on any of the other candidates, and there will be no learning curve required. Like any student coming into a new role, there is a learning curve. There was a learning curve for me last year. There will be a learning curve for Shane and Patrick if they get elected, undoubtedly. So I think if you want an education officer who will start 4, 5, 6 months ahead of the other 2 candidates, then I think I'm the best person for the job, and I really do hope you vote Sam Geoghegan number 1 next Wednesday and Thursday. Thank you.
I do honestly believe that I'm the best person for this job. I've dealt with individual cases as a peer mentor and people with trouble with their academic situations. I've dealt with numerous committees. I have the experience to do that, to do this job well. I have good ideas, good, very implementable, easy ideas. I won't make large promises in the manifesto and then wait until there's 4 months left in the semester to finish off most of them. I know that I can do this. I will do this job to the best of my ability, and I will not let the students of UCD down if I'm elected. I know I'm the best candidate for this job. Please vote for me next Wednesday and Thursday, number 1. Thank you.